going on, family? God bless. Hope you're having a good day. Let's get right into this video.
There's something absolutely dystopian happening in our culture today.
It's crazy.
Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered entirely by renewable energy.
So last week, Paris Hilton unveiled the first pictures of her new baby boy. Here is her kissing this little baby. His name is Phoenix. He was born last month, but there has been a lot of controversy, I would say, surrounding his birth because he was born via surrogacy.
I wanted to give the person that I felt like was a good candidate for our family, I wanted to give her the opportunity to choose us as well. Like, what if she wasn't a fan? What if she was, you know, we have amazing fans, but we also have crazy haters. Like, what if it was, I wouldn't want that energy around my baby.
Yes, we are expanding the family, but, you know, I have a belief that when you do things, you don't just go, you go big. So 2 babies, people, 2 babies are on the way. So you basically go on all of these websites. There are all these sites, and it's sort of like Tinder or whatever app you were dating on, where you're just kind of swiping through people and you say, oh, I like the way she looks, or I like this girl had a great education, or some combination thereof. And really 2 absolutely amazing women are carrying our babies right now. So we have 2 babies, again, 1 from each of us biologically, but they will be connected through the egg, the genetic material of the mother.
Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus. A single building can incubate up to 30,000 lab-grown babies per year. Ectolife allows your baby to develop in an infection-free environment. Thanks to CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing tool, you can edit any trait of your baby through a wide range of over 300 genes. By genetically engineering a set of genes, the Elite package allows you to customize your baby's eye color, hair color, skin tone, physical strength, height, and level of intelligence.
And the way that they are framing it and announcing it is very odd. Like, look at this article. Here is Paris Hilton and her husband. Paris Hilton gives birth for the first time with the help of a surrogate.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
She did not give birth. She did nothing. Up until a month ago, she was still like half naked dancing on stage at Miley Cyrus's like New Year's Eve debacle. Nobody had any idea. She did not do this. And a surrogate helped? No, she literally did all of it. That makes it seem like the surrogate was just standing there holding her hand. That would not be a surrogate. That would be a nice friend.
Push! Get out of there!
It is so dehumanizing. And that right there is a lot of people's arguments against surrogacy, saying that it turns the mother into a vessel or a literal birth giver, not in the trans sense, but in a literal, like, Handmaid's Tale birth giver sense, who is supposed to have no emotional connection or future with the child that they are carrying for 9 months, that their body is literally creating. Somebody tweeted and said, Paris Hilton gives birth with the help of a surrogate. No, Paris Hilton bought a woman's body and stole her baby is much more accurate. But that is not the weirdest part of this story. She and her husband want more babies via surrogacy, so they have been doing IVF.
See how they try to, like, switch the meaning of words? Like the same, it could be a meaning of a word, and just because they want to change the people's perspective on something, they change the whole meaning of words. Like, they just start changing words. Like, that's what they do. Like, they just change the whole dictionary up. They delete stuff out the dictionary, like, just to fit their purpose, bro. Like, it's crazy.
To prepare for this, and a lot of it. They have literally done 7 rounds of IVF, and they have 20 fertilized embryos that are frozen and ready to go. But that is not enough, because so far they have only gotten boy embryos, and Paris really wants a baby girl. So they're going to keep making these frozen babies until they get one. This is from a Daily Wire article. They said,
I want to know where do it come from? Where do the hybrid part come in from? Like, that's what I'm not understanding.
Hilton then revealed that she had already gone through the process of creating embryos 7 times, and that the net result had been 20 embryos, all of them male. Now, guys, this quote is so weird. I have all boys. I have 20 boys, she said. I just went through the process again a month ago, so I'm waiting for the results to see if there's any girls.
So how many kids are they gonna have?
With the rise of technology and the
Because how many kids?
LGBTQ movement, we are seeing today things related to pregnancy and childbirth that would have been utterly unimaginable even a few years ago. Although Ectolife is currently just a concept, it is clearly a goal that many women wish were a reality. The closest alternative to Ectolife today.
So now God got no say so on how your kid look. Like, you just God now. Like, people just playing God now. You can tell how what color eyes your kid have, what kind of hair your kids have. Like, It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Is in fact already a reality, and it is called surrogacy, where someone can pay another woman to carry the baby that will then be immediately taken away from the birth mother and given to the person who paid the birth mother to carry this baby. Unless there is an extremely good reason to use this kind of process to bring a baby into the world, which is another very serious debate to be had. This essentially turns pregnancy and childbirth into
that's a blessing from God, you feel me? Like, to have a kid, like, to get pregnant, like, that's, God gave you that blessing. Like, people just want to play God, like, they God, like, it's crazy.
Dystopian transactional process, where we have wealthy people taking advantage of women with financial difficulties and making them go through the unimaginably difficult act of carrying a baby to term, giving birth, and then immediately giving away the baby. That is absolutely not how God designed pregnancy and childbirth.
By the way, in chapter 3, look at what God says. Verse 16, to the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your pain in childbirth. You don't thank Eve for that. In pain you will bring forth children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you.
Yes, pregnancy and childbirth are extremely difficult, but the solution is not to pay someone else to go through this difficulty for you. It's to trust the way God designed men, women, families, and pregnancy.
That's something that Ali Stuckey had stressed, is that people rarely talk about the fact that the bodies of these surrogates are inclined to reject the pregnancy. So they have higher rates of miscarriages, the women that go through and carry somebody else's child. So this is not IVF, but surrogacy. And they're more likely to go into preterm labor. How do you feel about that? You know, why are these women signing up to do this? Obviously, because they're selling their bodies, obviously, because they need the money. When I was looking at that app of the potential egg donors that I mentioned, all of these women, the majority of them were high school grads, very young, or people that were in university and just needed the money. And they knew that if they went through this process of giving their eggs, they could get $10,000 per an egg, something like $10,000 per egg. That's a lot of money for a person that needs it.
There's something extremely twisted and tragic about what wealthy people like Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, and Dave Rubin are doing and promoting, which is essentially purchasing a woman's body, purchasing the very process.
It sounds like they're selling the egg and then like putting it through these AI technology that they're coming out with.
Of pregnancy and childbirth itself, with money, turning it into something cold and transactional.
In Rubin's discussion, both with Peterson and on his own show, is he does us the favor of setting forth rather plainly and in some detail the gross commercial and eugenic nature of his mission to create infants that he and his partner can then raise together. For instance, he describes searching through an online catalog with an array of potential mothers for his envisioned children, and doing so in a similar fashion to how he would evaluate hookup options on a Tinder app, admiring physical appearance or educational attainment and seeing the different costs associated with each woman and so forth. And what Rubin elaborates...
They're like completely disconnecting people from reality, like from life, like from our birthrights. Like they just stripping people away from it and like getting further and further away from it.
When discussing this on his own show, was that after purchasing and obtaining the genetic material from a woman who they had selected, he and his partner pursued the standard regimen for the creation of children in the laboratory. By that I mean that he and his partner didn't make just one child for each of them with their respective sperm and the purchased eggs. Rather, they commissioned a whole batch of embryonic children who then could be genetically tested to determine which one or more among them was, in the view of the hired experts, eugenically superior, thus most worthy of implanting into the wombs that they had contracted to rent.
Even worse than the idea of turning pregnancy into something cold and transactional is the way so many of the people who purchase babies so casually discard the babies they are not interested in. Countless babies are essentially killed and thrown away by this process every year. And this is absolutely evil and tragic. Paris Hilton talked about continuing the IVF process until she got a girl, despite already having created 20 boys. That is just so disgusting to even think about. And here's Jeff Schaefer commenting on Dave Rubin's process.
What Rubin did not explain to his audience is the fate he chose for the remainder of the batch of embryonic children that he had commissioned. What came of the perhaps dozens of others who were deemed less desirable for one reason or another, or of those embryos who got high marks but otherwise were simply redundant surplusage. These children will either be consigned to life in a nitrogen freezer in suspended animation, or contributed to science for experimentation, or will be flushed down the sink. Again, he did not say which of these fates they chose for the remainder of the children whose introduction to immortal existence he and his partner had despotically initiated. But consumers who commission the creation of such quantities of small people do so fully intending, or at least understanding, that they will be consigning these leftover or unapproved children to one of these tragic destinies.
Self-congratulating pseudo-humanitarians advocate a deadly force of violence unleashed against infants that makes the Nazi Holocaust look mild by comparison. In our world, we're slaughtering between 50 and 60 million babies a year. In the United States, on record is 1.5 million abortions a year. Every third baby conceived is murdered in the womb. 4,000 a day plus 170 an hour. Planned Parenthood alone kills one every 95 seconds.
Make no mistake, what people like these are doing is absolutely evil, and they will face God's severe judgment on the last day, unless they turn and repent of their sin and flee to faith in Jesus Christ for their salvation.
That's crazy, man. I swear it's changing in front of us, right in front of our eyes. Like that. Stay woke.